celebrating 15 years of this beloved foolery.
You know that it would be untrue. You know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, Central Coast, I know I'd be a liar.
Hey, there we go.
Come on, Jeff and Jeremy, light my fire.
I like how you fit it in there, Greg.
Jeff and Jeremy, light my fire.
Oh,
yeah. Try to set the night on fire.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on 93.3 KZOZ.
You know what I said to my mom in her card? Did I tell you this on Friday? I don't remember. I said, hey, happy Mother's Day. You did a great job. Look how I turned out. My wife thought that was, not really appropriate. What are you talking about?
I got super sappy this year.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because I credit my mom to most of my parenting style, and I feel like I'm an okay parent. And I never really told her that, I had to learn it from somewhere. So I told her, I was like, hey,
wow.
Thanks. Because, I'm a single mom growing up, and she... I never understood how hard that job is, being a single mom. And she would still...
Just being a single parent, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she would still set aside time to make sure that we went and did fun things. And we weren't... because she was a single parent and my dad paid next to nothing in child support, we didn't have, endless means, but we always found a way to go do something cool that didn't cost that much money. Now you can't do that because gas costs too much.
What did you do? What sticks out in your mind that she took you to do that?
I remember once it was early on in high school, maybe it was my freshman year, my sophomore year, or maybe it was 8th grade. One of those years. Not that 8th grade, started high school, but it could have been around that time.
Mid to late teens. Yeah.
I remember one night I was getting ready for school the next day. She's like, you know what? We're not going to school tomorrow. I haven't been to the Olympic Peninsula in a long time, and we did a trip around the entire Olympic Peninsula.
Wow. I never did that.
All the way down, went to Forks for the first time, went out to La Push. It was really cool. I grew up in Seattle, so, that's a long drive. In fact, I remember it was in February, and we left when the sun had not risen yet, and we got home well after it went down for the evening. That's how long of a trip it was.
I can't even believe you could do it in one day. That's insane.
It was I want to say it was about 8 hours. To drive around the entire thing. It was insanity.
It's really cool.
But it was cool because we stopped along the way and we did things, grabbed lunch and went out to the ocean, checked out the ocean out there and stuff like that. And I'd still never been back there since. I think, she was sensing that I was kind of over school for the time being, and it kind of refreshed me, and that was what it was. And her being able to pick up on that with all the distractions of being a single mother and having a teenager, it really stood out to me now. At the time, I was like, oh, that's a cool thing we did, whatever. But now when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, that's pretty incredible. I got to, keep that in the toolkit, as the administration likes to say, for when my kids, I need to recognize that with my kids.
Yeah, maybe you need to make good. I don't know if you need to make good, but no, my dad would take me out of school every once in a while just to go fishing.
Yeah,
and he wouldn't tell me. He would just pick me up randomly, and he said, "Hey, Jeremy, your dad's here." When I was in grade school, and I'll never. Those were the best, man. I was like, wow, this is so cool. And one of my teachers, I remember, knew about it, and she thought it was great. She goes, "Hey, I think you're going fishing," because she liked to fish. And they probably talked about it at parent-teacher conferences or some stupid stuff. That's a cool story. I can't believe you got sappy with your mom. That's awesome.
I just said, hey,
you probably made her week.
I said, hey, thanks for doing so many fun things with me when I was a child. I now see the importance of that and am able to pass it on to my kids. And I think, your work will be passed on for generations. So thank you.
If I was to write your mom a card, I didn't meet her until you were in college, community college, high school with ashtrays. And I just remember.
No. Speaking, actually, those are places that the President of the United States goes to speak to today's youth.
Yeah, until just a few weeks ago, it was a high school with ashtrays. Now it's much different, but I just remember
Now it's just a
your
college,
mom-
Jeremy. It's not a community college.
Your mom has some lungs on her, and I just remember yelling. Oh my! All my friends growing up that had single moms. I remember Joe Edmonds' mom. Him and his brother were adopted, and his brother was older. He was about 4 years younger than his brother, and his sister was about 4 years older too. And so she had 3 kids in one house. And I just remember every time I went over there, as soon as the mom pulled up, I'm like, I got to go home right now. Because she would come in, because they didn't clean up or whatever. And I was just, but you were in college. It was different.
It's not that different. Her COVID stance and my COVID stance were polar opposite. So there was some times on the phone over the last couple of years, which I like to say, see, I told you so now, as much as I possibly can, just like I will to anybody else that wished death upon me, during the whole COVID fiasco. Like those people
that didn't agree with their
in the western flanks of San Luis Obispo, we know who you are.
We've tagged you.
I've got Dave Chappelle's security out looking for you right now. Those people, I love to tell them, I told you so. See, did you see that Tennessee, we didn't talk about this last week, but they passed a law that said, we're going to recognize natural immunity as law. So like if you need COVID verification that you've gone to a place, you can just show us the papers from the doctor that said you'd gotten it, and we'll accept that just as much as we would a vaccine, because the vaccine, it's probably protecting you a little bit better than the vaccine.
Well, the antibodies, it's all based on
what
doctors, right?
Doctors have said,
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So, I know. I remember, I don't want to go too long here, but I remember I love to think about this one thing. My mom was a tiny person, 105, 110 pounds, best, 5'1", and she comes 5 foot, actually. She comes chasing after me in high school. I said something, and she's swinging her fist, and I'm running down the hall as fast as I can to get to my room. Did your mom ever chase you down swinging?
No.
Say, there you go. My mom would punch me. Well, she wouldn't, but she'd be so embarrassed if she heard me tell that story. Happy Mother's Day, moms!
Spending 4 hours in a box together every day can make you say crazy things. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
This might come as a surprise to you, Jeremy.
Okay.
All right, you know what? I'm going to treat you like a person that's playing the mind phone.
Oh, I like that. Sure.
Okay. 48% of people surveyed said this is the most irritating, frustrating part of working in an office.
What was the percentage again, please?
48.
48 as in 48?
Mm-hmm.
And they said this is the most annoying part about working in an office?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to talk this out. I think it has something to do with coworkers, and I think it has something to do with the break room. Am I close on either two?
Now, keep in mind, a lot of people are working everywhere. Everybody's scattered as a result of...
yeah. What's the question again? 48% of people say this is the most annoying part?
Frustrating part of office work.
Of working in an office or office work?
Yeah, just doing office work.
You're not saying they're working in an office. You're just saying doing office work.
Like you have to do this.
Responding to emails.
That is correct.
There you go, Suze! And everybody else.
I wasn't going to name any names, but
calling you
go
out,
ahead.
Suze! Oh my God, if you don't respond to his email from Suzanne, oh my Lord, she's like, did you get my email? Did you get my email? I'm not trying to say she's
the frustrating part about
really
it.
Wants to, even if it's I like to do the thumbs up. It annoys a lot of people, but I always give her.
I've gone to that now, Jeremy.
Yep, I got it.
Because I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with the frequency of the emails, like why they need to be so much.
She is juggling a lot right now. She is managing this radio station and another one we have in the building. She's doing her show here. She's doing stuff on this others. She's just doing a lot more
de facto promotions.
Yeah, just like when I say I would rather be a man than a woman, I would rather be Jeremy than Suzanne. Like her job is way harder than mine. And so
she's accountable for a lot of things,
yes,
but how she moves that accountability around is through the world of email.
Our accountability is show up at 6, do it show till 10. Here's some tickets, give those away. That's pretty much our accountability where it starts and stops.
Like, I mean, I seriously think that primary aspect of her job is to sit there and be a communicator through emails.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to take up, if she works 40 hours a week, 25 of it is
So
that.
it'd be great if her show starts at 2:00. Anytime between 2 and 7 is when she's on. Maybe do it before 5, by 5.
See,
Send her a text and say, you're a badass rock star. It's a Monday. She's coming in. She's going to have to deal with all kinds of drama on top of
this
her
is email
radio
day.
show.
Dude, this is email day. I'm telling you right now.
She chose this life. She chose this. She wanted to be
Text
program
her, but
director.
yeah, it's a great idea, Jeremy. Text her between 2 and 7 this evening, afternoon.
She deserves it.
And say, you know what, Suze, good job, and then give her a thumbs up. She loves a
because
thumbs up.
when
Give her a
Jeff and I
thumbs
do
up.
it, yeah.
Good job, thumbs up.
Maybe 2 thumbs up or 3.
Kicking ass at sending those emails. That's what you got to do.
See, if we say something nice to her, she never takes it serious because we're like her brothers. She hates us. She loves
Hey,
us.
Suze,
It's a love-hate relationship.
I've heard that you're a hell of an email sender. Keep up the good work.
Yes. Boy,
Thumbs up.
Boy, you do that, I'll find a way to get you a prize. All right. I'm going to go look through the text, by the way.
And then add on there.
Tomorrow morning when I get to work, I get in like around 4:35.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at all those
This is
texts.
your job later on this afternoon, okay? Make sure after 2, at some point after 2, a thumbs up, something about emails. And also, if you could add the line in there, no need to do better.
Yeah.
That would be the cherry on top.
Okay, just good job on the emails and thumbs up. And she's going to be confused, but it'll be funny. Anyways,
Yeah.
And it's the text line. It's the 805 Beer text line.
And it sucks because you can't, like with text messages, I've built in my excuse, and that is I'm not very good at even keeping my phone accountable. Like right now, my phone is in my car. I forgot it in my car. I was listening to a podcast on the way into work today. So it's like, I don't know. I'll go down and get it at some point this morning, I imagine, type of thing. But email, we are so tethered to the email, more tethered to the email than anything else because we have no excuse. Because if we're out, like, I don't know how you are, but if I'm working on something and say that something takes an hour to work on or takes an hour and a half to work on, do you check your emails in between that task and the other task? Do you have notifications that pop up whenever you get a new email? How does that work?
I turned all that stuff off. I used to back when email started.
It's such a distraction.
Yeah,
if
I
you're
can't do
working
it.
and you're focusing on one thing.
I'll tell you what I do. I've got my list of crap to do after this show's over. And when I get all that done, I'll go look at the email to make sure there's not something that needs, before I leave for the day before I'm
But
done.
certain people don't operate in that fashion, and they get frustrated when you don't respond to their email right away. And it's like, well, I work in a different realm. Like everybody, and it's the email person, the one that sends the emails and expects a response right away. It's that person that doesn't understand it because they respond to the emails because they are super tethered to it. Oh, there's an email right there.
That's my new email notification. Back to the hotel. 805-543-3693. You can call, chat, text us anytime. Those are the 805 Beer lines. Live the 805 lifestyle. Log on to 805beer.com.
Careful, you don't want to learn from this. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on 93.3 KZOZ.
So, Jeff, I saw this, it was over the weekend. Adam Sandler gave some advice to Mike Myers about being a father. And you're a father, and you've now raised kids to 8 and 5.
Is Mike Myers just a new father? Is that the deal?
I don't know. It's his, Mike, yeah.
Why would he be receiving the advice?
Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So here's the advice from Adam Sandler. I wanted to get your 2 cents on this. All right. So Mike Myers, his wife's name is Kelly, by the way, just a little back. Their first child, Adam called and gave him some heads up on what to expect.
He just called me out of the blue and said, I heard that you're about to have kids. I'm very happy for you and Kelly. He said, do you know that feeling you have when you're 12 years old and you fall in love for the first time, where your ribs ache? He said, that's what it's going to be like every day. He said, it's going to be like finding out that there's a room in your house that you didn't know, but you realize that it's a part of your heart.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that how
That's
it
the
feels?
advice? That's the advice? That's not advice.
That's just how it feels, right? Maybe
I remember Linda, our receptionist here, when our firstborn was on the way. She's like, I'm so excited for you guys. She came back and had a heart-to-heart with me. This is when I was shoved back when baby was in the corner. I shoved back in that back corner I think there's a studio there now.
Oh, you mean where you and I, where they shoved us when we got here?
Yeah, but you found your way out of there. I don't know how.
Well, there was no windows in that room, and I just that bothered me.
Yeah, and I was back there. I was fine with it because it was so tucked away that people didn't bother me. I liked it. And she came back. She had a heart to heart with me. She's like, "You don't understand what you're about to embark on." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She was like, "You will never love anything more in your entire life than you do your kids." And I was like, "Oh, that's just some sappy woman stuff." I mean, I took the advice and I was like, "Hey, okay, cool, thanks, I appreciate it." But I was like, "Nah, that's some sappy woman stuff. That can't be the case." And she was absolutely 100% right.
Yeah,
the kids are the most important thing, top priority in our lives. It's made me a better person for it.
I agree.
I did similar,
nicer person too, more understanding, more responsible. There's a lot of things that changed about you when you became a dad.
Similar advice, I think, from Adam Sandler as well.
Oh, by the way,
any impatience that I had for you has automatically been thrust upon my kids.
I really
get up here. I gotta do your hair now.
I really helped get you ready for this experience.
Yeah.
Here's a little bit more from Mike Myers.
And I was like, "Oh my God, Adam, that is like the greatest thing ever." And he said, "Spend time with your kids, dude. It goes by very, very fast." I've always wanted to have kids. I always wanted to be a dad. So it's been just the happiest time of my life. It's a lovely call. It's the most beautiful call I think I've ever received from anybody.
Mike Myers, Canadian, right? Is he a Canadian?
Well, I know he was on Wayne's World, but yeah, I think
he was from Illinois on Wayne's World.
Oh, that's right. Maybe it's Canadian then. It was a long time ago.
Have you seen him lately?
No,
because he's not out in public much.
I'm gonna Google.
He probably is a guest on podcasts all the time. He did the Bob Barker thing. You remember that one summer when we were kids?
Oh no, he's all gray.
Yeah, with that one summer when we were kids, and we went back to watching Price is Right when the summertime hit, and we're like, "Whoa, what happened to Bob?" His hair went from black to gray. We were like, "What's that all about?" That's strange.
I decided to stop coloring it. Yeah, I'm looking at him here, and he's got glasses on. He kind of looks like a fat face, the dude from CNN, who's got the gray hair. Come on, the main guy from CNN. When I say
Anderson Cooper?
Yes, thank you.
Well, I was thinking about Stelter. I was thinking about Cuomo.
Now, when you think about CNN,
I'm pretty sure he doesn't look like Don Lemon. So
Don Lemon. Who's that again? Oh, he's the underprivileged one, the one that's not been treated fair his whole life. Anyways, so there you go. Some advice from Adam Sandler to Mike Myers. Now, I would say that last part, he said, spend as much time with your kids as possible. You do that all the time. I mean, I couldn't get you to play golf with me for 5 years.
Well, yeah, and it probably won't be that way for another. I could see my son being okay with it at 12. My daughter's.
I guess I understand it because
has gone away from it.
They go through different phases, right? Like where one phase, you're the coolest person in their life. Two, they don't want anything to do with you because they're just going to be their friends. And
now my daughter, who is 8, turning 9, and it was weird because when she went from 6 to 7, I thought it was overnight. Like she used to wake up early, be excited for the day to start, and then on her 7th birthday, it went to sleeping in and being more of a tween. And now it's like any bit of stuff that she wants me to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break whatever I'm doing to do it for her, because who knows how long this will last. It probably won't last more than a couple more years. At least I got my son who's going to follow up and he'll be doing it for some few years.
How do you end up getting the Rory Gilmore daughter? You know what I mean? Like, or the child that just really likes you, wants to be with you and hang out with you.
To be a single mom
or the
with,
Whitney,
that has access to independently wealthy parents.
That doesn't matter. It's just like, how do you, I've always thought about this. Like,
I think
it's got to be crushing that day that your kid says you're not cool and they don't want to hang out with you anymore.
I think you have to have serious heart-to-heart conversations with them, but also not like they're the kid. That you need to have.
Treat them as an adult.
Trust. You gain their trust by talking to them as adults. I really do think that if you have a conversation and as honest as you can be. Obviously, there's some things that you need to, limit the information that they get, but be as honest as you can possibly be with them, and then they're going to have the most respect for you, and then they'll end up, like you say, Rory Gilmore.
You bring up the fact that having a dog, because we don't have kids, is nothing like and that's true, because I talk to my dog like an adult all the time, and he just doesn't listen, and it's not until I scream at him that he listens. That'll probably never change.
That's okay though, because you don't have to worry about your dog not thinking that you're not cool anymore.
That's true. Doesn't matter how stupid I am, he still likes me.
Yeah.
Dumbass of the Day brought to you by California Diesel and RV. They work on motorhomes. They work on pickup trucks. They can manage your fleet vehicles. Stop by and see them at 1189 Pike Lane in Oceano. That's California Diesel and RV.
How pathetic can some people be?
This is a redneck nation we live in. The national anthem should be The Gambler by Kenny Rogers. Woo! You like that song? I think it's all right. I just think it's really obvious, though. You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em. That's the most obvious poker advice you could ever give anyone. Oh, I gotta know when to hold 'em and when to fold 'em. No Kenny Rogers. Papa Smurf of rednecks. That song... That song is so obvious, if it had been called The Hunter, I think it would have gone like this. You gotta shoot at an animal. Don't shoot rocks or people.
Dumbass of the Day. 93.3 KZOZ.
This is a good one. And I remember, I don't know how long it's been since I played games. I remember we used to play drinking games a lot way back in the day. Remember that? We used to go over to your house. King's
I like
Cup,
playing games.
I don't remember all the names, but I remember King's Cup, and sometimes we'd have to call people. But
I've been playing a lot of Sorry and Uno recently.
Oh, good. This is a story about Uno that we're going to do today.
Uno,
yeah. But I don't ever remember getting into a fight with anybody because of the way a game turned out. I remember being like younger, playing Monopoly with my cousin. She got mad and she flipped the board up and walked out because she owed me I had all her money.
Uno's tough because I think there's variations of the rules that get adopted by families, and then when you go play another family, they're like, we play this way, and you're like, we don't play that way.
Or sometimes you don't find out till you're in the game, and they're like, no, this is how we do it. This happened in Georgia.
Flare.
Cobb County, a man shot another man in the arm with a firearm after a fight broke out over a game of Uno. Officials say the charges stem from a shooting back on the 13th. According to investigators, they began arguing, shot the man in the arm. Then he stood over him, threatening to kill him. Somebody called the cops. He fled the scene. When the cops got there, they're questioning the victim, and he tried to cover for the guy. He goes, no, that didn't happen. I got shot in a drive-by shooting that happened earlier in the night.
Probably because he was like, this is embarrassing to get shot over a game of Uno.
I got shot in a drive-by shooting that just, no big deal. Yeah, I took fire in a drive-by a little earlier in the night. Well, they caught up with Grant. They got him arrested. He's, of course, in drunk and firearms and all that kind of stuff. He's going to go to jail for a while. Probably not a whole long time, but I don't know I don't know if they actually ended up coming forward and telling the cops the whole story about the threatening to kill him, because that would add another charge.
What was I want to know, as an Uno player, I want to know what was it that sparked it. Like,
yes.
we get into fights. So my nephews and nieces play a totally different way. And my daughter spent a lot of time with them over Christmas playing Uno. So then she's brought this way into our house. I'm like, no, you can't play that way. And she's like, that's how the nephews and the nieces play. And I'm like, well, that's not how we play in our house. So it's caused a rift. And I'll say we play less Uno as a result. What they do is, if you have the same card, you can lay down multiples. So say you have a 4. Not a draw 4, just a regular 4. You have a 4. and you could lay, if you have like 3 4s in your hand and somebody lays the 4 down, you could lay the 3 4s down and then change the color. And then change the color in the process.
Ooh, I kind of like that.
It actually does lead to some pretty competitive games. And
It just changes everything up, yeah. Because now it's like, oh, I could lay this 5 down, but oh my gosh, what if Jeff's got 2 5s?
Yeah.
And then he takes control.
Yes, exactly. Like if I'm sitting there with a whole bevy of cards, I can unload
But that's
them
not traditional.
pretty quickly. No,
you can't go till it's your turn.
No, not that. I mean, you still can only go when it's your turn, but if you're sitting there and somebody lays a 5 down in front of you and I got 5 5s, I could lay all 5 5s down and eliminate, a good percentage of my hand if I'm stuck there holding a lot of cards.
So what happened? Did you guys get in a fight? Did you push your daughter down and threaten to take away her allowance?
No, I just kicked her out of the house.
Congratulations. Stephen Grant in Cobb, Georgia. You are Jeff and Jeremy's
Dumbass of the Day. It's Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on 93.3 KZOZ. Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.